Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to yet another episode of Crime Pays by Bonnie Does It Not. Today is coming to you from the Forest Preserve in beautiful Hodgkins, Illinois. It's kind of a commercial slum with a little mixture of a post-industrial blight. Now what we're looking at is basically one of the few remaining crumbs, one of the few remaining fragments of a landscape that is frequently referred to as Dolomite Prairie. Now the difference between Dolomite Prairie and regular prairie is that the topsoil on Dolomite Prairie is much, much thinner than it would be on regular old prairie. Okay, most of the regular prairies are gone too. You know, we're just looking at crumbs of habitat left. Now the reason the Dolomite Prairie topsoils are so thin is mostly due to glacial action 20,000 years ago. They were just kind of scraped clean, just bulldozed by, you know, a couple thousand feet and you know, billions of tons of ice. But because of that, because they have a thinner topsoil, they have a much different plant community than you would find on just any old regular prairie soil. Now, dolomite is basically limestone. Okay, dolomite's the mineral, and dolostone is the name for the rock, okay, which of course contains dolomite. Limestone is calcium carbonate, and dolostone, aka with the dolomite in it, is calcium magnesium carbonate. Okay, and basically what happened to the dolostone, how the limestone was turned into dolostone, was it was just baptized. Okay, it was just marinated in a very magnesium-rich groundwater over the past, I don't know, 430 to 440 million years since it was created. Now, this is a similar baptism with this magnesium-rich groundwater that we get in a food phenomenon that's local to the area, known as the Italian beef sandwich. And here to talk with me about that, we got my good friend Al Scratch. We're going to get into the Italian beef real quick.
Thanks, Joe. You're absolutely right. This is an endemic sandwich to the Chicagoland area, and you can see that it's been so moistened with the gravy, they actually give it to you in a plastic bag.
It looks like a very moist bag as well. I can see a lot of condensation on the inside of that. Now let's get a little bit closer.
That's some steamy gravy right there. That's actually gravy steam inside. And you can see here that the juice is actually transcended through the paper, and it's actually sapping through. Now, when you're in a particular area in Chicagoland, you're going to want to go to the local beef establishment in that area. So as we are in Hodgkins in the southwest suburbs, Joe, I chose to go to Pop's over in Lyons on Ogden.
Okay, now is that, and that would be the logo on the bag right there.
That's the logo on the bag. So, you know, they're doing okay for themselves. They got the branded paper, you know, so that, you know, good for them. That's always a good sign.
Now, Al, let's talk about this really quick. That looks like quite a heavy piece of food right now. Now, if you were to throw that on someone's windshield, which would be, you know, that would be a heresy, what type of sound do you think that would make?
That'd be a heavy, low-end bass thwap. It would resound in the cabin of the vehicle to such a point that the driver may become distracted and get into a crash. So I recommend that you don't do that. Definitely don't throw a dipped, sweet, hot Italian beef sandwich onto the windshield of a passing by car, no matter how tempting.
Okay, so especially not if you're traveling 70 miles per hour down the I-55.
I-55, yeah, if you're going down, you know, the Adlai Stevenson, oh, wow. This is...
I mean, that's really, we're
wow.
working with magic there. Now, why don't you go ahead and tell me what you got on there?
It's dripping off right there. It's incredible. So what we got, Joe, this is a dipped beef, both sweet, you can see by the bell peppers here, both sweet and hot. So we got a celery and jalapeno jardinera for the heat. And, you know, that's kind of a Jay's beef style. Kind of a Johnny's beef style, and as we're out west, I'm not surprised that they do a Johnny's beef style. If you get into the city a little more east, the jardinera is going to be more of an Al's beef style, and it's going to be more some red peppers and maybe less heavy on the celery. You definitely won't see a jalapeno in there, but we're going to just peel the bread back a little bit now.
Oh, look at that. That's pretty good. Okay, I see that.
You know,
now, is there jardinera on this right there?
So this is what they're calling. Oh, there they go. So this is what they're calling their hot. You know, it's not technically a jardinera. It's more of a pepper mix. It's got a fresh
I just
celery.
see a couple of Japalinos on there.
It's jalapenos. You know what it's jalapenos, red peppers, and celery in there.
Now,
like that
Now, how many different beefs do we have? We got Ale's beef, John's beef, Paul's beef, Tony's beef. Any other? Am I leaving anybody out here?
There's a great number of beefs throughout the city. You know, I would say just get in your car, get on your bike, take a ride, take a drive. If you see somewhere with the sun faded sign, that's definitely where you're gonna want to go. Now, where you don't want to go is somewhere that looks like, you know, like a 1950s drive-in. They do it up real nice.
Something like Portillo's.
And you're definitely right that you don't want to go to Portillo's. They're owned by a hedge fund. You kind of want to just stay clear of them because they're really just lining the pockets of some, you know, horrible people. So I'm just going to try this right now. Now, see, oh, here we go. It's not summer unless you get a yellow jacket. Trying to get at your
now if not, going back to the geology reference here, so this would be kind of like the limestone bedrock right here,
right? So if we had this 9-inch Toronto roll right here, if this was the calcium carbonate limestone, and we had some magnesium rich groundwater just soaking it like the juice, then we would have the substrate on which some plants could grow because it has the magnesium. It's very nutritious, and even though there's not a lot of nutrients in its soil, but you're still going to get some life because of that magnesium in there, or so I understand. You know, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but so I understand.
And now, what would be akin to the glacier coming through and scraping all the topsoil off the top of the bedrock?
I'd have to liken that to when you take the entire beef out of the juice in which it's been stewing for, you know, 17 hours, 24 hours. And I'd have to liken the glacier to the cook's knife when he starts to finally shred that beef. So that glacier is, you know, it's basically like the knife, and it's shredding off that beef.
Okay, now lastly, let's talk about the possible detrimental health effects that could result from consuming food items such as this.
Well, you know, in the Chicagoland area, we like to eat like we actually have low cholesterol and need to get it up. We need to get our numbers up. So we let that guide our diet. This might lead to a hardening of the arteries. It's definitely going to activate the inflammatory response in the body based on the number of preservatives, salts, and meat proteins in there. And that's why you get it with the little sweet pepper in there, because that's really just going to help, you know, calm things down.
Okay, so and overall, have you ever seen an Italian beef sandwich spot that looks absolutely kind of a marvelous but horrendous at the same time? Have you ever seen an Italian beef sandwich spot that had the defibrillators on the wall near the door, just in case?
You know, I seen it in O'Hare Airport once. I seen it in O'Hare Airport. But, you know, and it might be a byproduct of the fact that they got those defibrillators everywhere. So I might have just been making connections, you know, seeing what I want to see. You got to be careful of that. You got to approach things with a scientific mind.
Okay, well, Al, I want to thank you for your time right here.
Oh, my God.
And, you know, don't give any to him, because we've had him on a diet for a while, and he's...
What about just a tiny amount?
Okay, you could give him a tiny amount. You can give him a tiny amount, but, you know, he's really...
some of the bread, too.
He just throws it right back on his ass. Yeah, give him some of the bread, too.
Some of the bread,
Give him some of the bread,
you
too.
Got it. I mean, look at this bread.
He's on a weight-restricted diet. So this is like the Dolostone you're giving to him.
That's right. That's right. And you know what? Let's give it up for the Dolostone, because that's really what kept this little patch down here from getting just
inundated with invasive plants,
and also used for agriculture too, because you're not gonna want to run a plow through there and grow stuff on there, because you know
there's no topsoil.
There's no topsoil. It's not gonna hold any water.
It's like the Italian beef's already been scraped off of the larger carcass.
It's already gone. It's just bone, and there's nothing there. The marrow's been, you know, melted out and into the beef. You know, so the Dolomite really helped the prairie just stay here, because, you know, it's not gonna get used for agriculture. You can't really grow too much on there. So, and then we get to keep this wonderful environment, you know, which is amazing in a way that it, you know, it kind of undulates and changes between wet and dry and mesic prairie. You know, it's really amazing. You know, it may be one in the spring and one in the summer. You get all kinds of different plants, like you were saying.
Now, hiding amongst the brambles, we got our old friend Lobelia siphilitica. They get a lot taller than this. They're not these ones aren't growing too tall this year. Look at those very distinct sepals and nice calyx, and then you got, of course, that bilaterally symmetrical flower with that pollen presenter poking out right there. Lobelia's got a very weird morphology right there. See that? See that little fused anther tube which is, these are protandrous first. They do secondary pollen presentation. So they, you know, that little, that style elongates. They present the pollen out of that fused anther column, this part up here, just past the purple on that thing poking out. And then after they present the pollen, that the little, see that the stigma, this is in the female phase right now, this flower. After they present the pollen, it all gets rubbed off, okay? Rub one off. And then you get that stigma presenting right there. You know, receptive to pollen, just waiting. Got a nice bilaterally symmetrical flower. I believe this was named Lobelia syphilitica because it was believed that it was a treatment for syphilis or something. Too bad nobody told Al Capone that. I guess he was losing his mind in his later years. He's only buried about 5 miles away from here. Same cemetery as my grandma and grandpa. Okay, now we're stepping back into the composite dungeon. Over here we got a species of Helenium. Okay, and you can tell it's a Helenium because they got those globose capitula. Okay, individual, the singular being capitulum. Okay, see that how it looks like a little globe? That flower head. Okay, and then of course the ligules. The ligules are quite distinct as well. Okay, but that globe again is composed of a bunch of tiny little flowers. All right, I'm really getting my ass spit up. Now over here we got a species of bidens. Okay, back in a composite dungeon. Look at those distinctive bricks. Okay, they look all tortured and whatnot. This is, I believe, this is Biden's polylepis. Okay, and again, how many florets you got down in there? Looks to be about 20 or so. Okay, so many goddamn species of Bidens. At least, you know, 7 or 8 in the immediate area. So we got quite a few interesting plants here as well. We got Persicaria. Okay, and there's a whole shit ton of non-native Persicarias. Actually, maybe there's only 1 or 2, but then you got the native ones too. It could be a real tricky genus to figure out. You got to look at the leaves. You got to look at the color of the flowers. Okay, but Polygonaceae, the buckwheat family. And, you know, unlike the buckwheats, which lack the ochrea, these got the ochrea. Just basically that little papery sheath right there between us, you know, right where the leaf meets the stem. Okay? Over here, this is pretty interesting. Same family as Hymenoxys, Sorurus cernuus, the lizard's tail. And as you can see, it's enjoying, what is that flower head? Okay, and this is, you know, this whole family is notable for being one of the basal angiosperm families, okay? Or a lineage, a basal lineage is a better way to put it. You can see it's really loving the, it likes the wet areas. Then we got another one of the ironweeds, the Vernonias. This is Vernonia miserica. You can see the pubescence on the stem right there. See, but quite scabbard and fuzzy. There's the flowers, only a few still going off. Multiseriate phyllaries, very pronounced, and you know, somewhat excised florets right there. Where you got Verbicina alternifolia, okay, notable for the winged stems. Okay, back in a composite dungeon, here we are. You got the winged stems. Oh, you still got a flower going off. Look at that. Okay, look at how widely spaced those individual florets are, and then you got the curlicue fork style branches and what the shit. Up here you got the seeds, the achenes rather, or cypsela if you really want to be a prick about it. The cypsela, those you know, just a bunch of basically seeds just ready to blow out right there, to just go all over the place, get dispersed. This is a wonderful plant. I love the verbecinums. They can get tall as fuck too. Forgot to mention this guy, Asclepias incarnata, the swamp milkweed. Look, you got the milkweed bugs just going to town on them. Oh, that's nice. And then you got all these seeds. Okay, tons of seeds. Dozens of seeds. Maybe I'll help disperse a couple of them. This is a pretty interesting one over here, okay? Especially if you know about the genus Penstemon, which we get a whole shit ton of on the west coast. This is Chelone glabra. Chelone. Okay, zygomorphic corollas, Plantaginaceae is the family. And look at that, you got a little fuzzy lower lip. That zygomorphic corolla, that bilaterally symmetrical corolla right there. Opposite leaves, of course, like just like a Penstemon would be. And you can get that. Let me see if I can get that. Oh, yeah, there you go. See, look at those this stamen structure. See how they're curved upwards, forming a little arch up there, just like a penstemon would be. Okay, glabra. You get one other species that occurs around here. It's got pink flowers, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that around here. And this guy, I guess, just reappeared. Okay, it's all part of the restoration effort they've been doing here, getting rid of the fucking invasive buckthorn, doing the burns and whatnot. And disturbance creates diversity. Okay, you start burning the prairies and shit once a year, every couple years. You get you enable more diversity to pop up. Get rid of the invasives. This is a really showy bastard too, and he wasn't looking this good, a couple days ago. So definitely responded to that rain we got. There you go, Chalone glabra. Look at that Chalone. There I go, just molesting the goddamn thing. But you got the saccade anthers still. See them how they're splitting open like that? You got this style in the back. I believe a common name for this is turtlehead. I love this because we don't get any of the Chalone. We don't get no Chalonies out west in California. There's a shit ton of penstemons because they like it dry, but none of the Chalone, Okay, look at all the goldenrods. See how some of them they're all fucked up like this. See how they got these clusters of flowers right there? They're clusters of leaves, excuse me. So you get the clusters of leaves, and then that just causes, it causes basically a bunch more branching than you might otherwise have. See, there's one right there. That's caused by a gall midge in the genus Rhopalomia. And this is Solidago canadensis. It's kind of nice, They fuck it up, but for the better. Okay, so you can see they've been burning this area. And, one of the first plants to come back after you go in with the burn, you set everything on fire, is this Erictites, okay? Remember, it is Senecio tribe. Okay, with the, Senecios all have that same general look to their involucres right there. See that? The sides of the flower head? Okay, glistening in the sun. Okay, but too bad these aren't flowering anymore. Because if they were, I could show you. But you could, just looks like a weedy fucking, which it is. It's weedy as hell, but it's a native plant. And its ecology with fire is pretty cool. Over here you got a Coreopsis. See the distinctive caliculi under there, subtending that flower head. Coreopsis tripteryx. There's the leaves right there. We go, there's oligoneuron again. Okay, same tribe as Solidago. Okay, it's basically a goldenrod itself, except they threw in a different genus. It's just the pants looks slightly different. Okay, but the flower heads look a little bit different. But then the big difference comes when you look at those grass-like leaves. Okay, oligoneuron and Euthamia, they got those grass-like leaves, which differentiates them from a Solidago. Over here you got the rattlesnake master, Eryngium yuccifolium, carrot family, Apiaceae, not going off anymore. Called yuccifolium because it's got leaves that look like a damn yucca. Okay, now this genus has members in Brazil that get, I shit you not, 8 feet wide across. Okay, and could goddamn stab a person. All right, and then over here you got the dreaded buckthorn just waiting to come up. This whole, matter of fact, this whole area was just inundated with invasive buckthorn, prior to restoration. Okay, and then it came in here, removed a bunch of it, had the spot apply herbicides. You just cut it, paint some on the stem because it'll just re-sprout. And basically, it's still here, but it can't compete with the natives, okay? Because they gave it a leg up. But that's all a lot of restoration does. You're just kind of leveling the playing field that native to make it easier for the native biota to come back against a bunch of those nasty invasives. Okay, here we go. This is one of my personal favorites. We're right on the prairie. Okay, this is Arnoglossum atriplicifolium. Okay, it's done flowering, unfortunately, which is kind of a bummer. You can see it's already those capitula are already maturing, not popping open. Oh, they're popping open a little bit. Okay, distinctive leaves though, very distinct. You can see, flip it over right there. Oh, it's super waxy and rubbery. Okay, glabrous stem, no hairs on them. Okay, bright green on top, abaxial surface, pretty white and waxy. Okay, and it just, these I believe were left. They were still here, despite all the buckthorn and the invasives. But then you get the two species in this genus, and the other species just popped up couple years ago. So, you know, again, you start the, you know, this disturbance enables the diversity. Start burning, start removing the invasives and whatnot. You get a whole new cast, the whole species, a whole new cast of species popping up of the natives and whatnot. Analogous Plantageneum was around here too. Okay, moving over here, we got one of my favorite fabids. There's a little one. Members of the pea family. This is Senna hebecarpa. Unfortunately, it's not flowering anymore. You got the, you know, just the legume fruits going off, but the flowers, when they are going off, they got those porocidal anthers. Okay, so they're buzz pollinated. Okay, Senna's a huge genus. You get a lot of diversity out west. You get some, get a couple species down in South America. Very successful genus of the fabids right here. Oh, there you go. There's some Arnoglossum still going off. Oh, that's nice. So here's a perfect example. Okay, this was all reed canary grass, invasive bullshit. Okay, it was removed. I believe they used some herbicide here, actually. Used some of the glyphosate, which of course many of the hippies treat like depleted uranium. Okay, I'm not going to go drinking this shit, but it's you know, it's fucking, you're probably exposing yourself to far more carcinogenic shit just getting in your fucking car or walking next to a busy road than you are by, you know, using it occasionally once a year in a restoration project. But anyway, this is that Arnoglossum atriplicifolium. These are first year seedlings. Flip that leaf over, okay? You can see that same white waxy cover we were just looking at. Okay, big basal leaves. So this is the first year. And then they're just, that's a perennial. They're forming, you know, he's just obsessed with the Italian beef. Will you let it go?
He's
okay?
entranced,
you
Joe.
can't
He's
do this.
entranced.
You can't keep doing this. Okay? We're having an intervention. You can't keep doing this, Jack. Okay? I want to keep you around. You're already 11. Okay? You keep eating that shit. I'm not going to get as many years with you. Anyway, so you get these, it's a perennial. Okay? It's building that, just, you know, that the perennial rhizome, just stuffing it with the carbs, the carbohydrates it's making through photosynthesis, and then the leaves die back in the winter. And then, you know, a couple years of that, and you'll have those guys right there. They send up a big inflorescence with world cauline leaves around them, and then that's it. Then they flower like that, and you get nice. You get some nice, nice flowers too. Did you have any trouble coming down 55? What'd you take to get here?
You know, I actually took the street roads. I took the surface roads because I didn't want to take the car in the highway. You know, so I'm a little. It's not the best of shape, but
oh, because you got the muffler problem. Is it legally registered and whatnot, or no?
Well, you know, given the pandemic extension for registration, yeah, it actually is. It's still legal, even though the tag says it's out of date, but it's still legal.
What are these guys doing over there? Oh, look, they're banging in a helianthus.
It's not too bad.
They're banging in. Oh no, there's just one of them. Is there one? Oh no, there's two. No, they're banging in there.
Hey, it's gonna make more pollinators. It's good.
The sorghastrum, the tans and whatnot. Okay, let's keep moving along. You could see just the thicket of Andropogon, Gerardii, as well as the sorghastrum, the tans. Okay, two of the very important prairie tall grasses. Okay, but as we approach this way, as we continue on, you're going to see some of that thin topsoil that I was telling you about that enables an entirely different cast of plants, plant species to come out. Okay, so back dealing with the Eupatoriae tribe, so noted in the Asteraceae, the sunflower family, for their long-ass style branches. We got another species of Liatris, the blazing stars, colloquially known is in the Midwest as the blazing stars. This is Liatris aspera. Okay, and a good diagnostic factor for this species is those phyllaries. If you could see them right there, those kind of rounded phyllaries, those rounded breaks. Look at this guy. What's he doing over there? You hanging out on there? You loitering? Okay. See, so they're the top flower heads are flowering first, and then you know, maturing on down the bottom. So you got basically kind of like a terminal flower spike going on. Okay, sessile, no petiole to those flower heads, and this little star-shaped corollas in there. Again, with those long-ass style branches poking up. But really, I mean, you want to look at the damn phyllaries on there. There's involucral bracts all rounded at the edges and whatnot. Okay, super distinct. Okay. We go another Liatris going off. This is one of the much taller ones. Okay, they're already done, or the flowers are already done. Okay, looks like a Liatris spicata. This thing should be, seed should be ready here in about a week or two. Okay, so moving right along, you could see all these brown flower heads sticking up just barely above the grass. You can see the plant cover tapers off. It's not as tall here. It's because we are closer to the bedrock. Okay, this is more of the actual Dolomite Prairie. Okay, you can see there's the stones, the limestone and with the shit right there. And this is Echinacea pallida. This guy right here. Okay, not going off anymore. Super showy when he was going off. Looks pretty good. Got the base of leaves and whatnot. Pretty scabbard, rough textured, like the sandpaper and whatnot. Okay, but again, quite a distinct flower head right there. Okay, you could see they're thriving here. I haven't seen them anywhere else. They're thriving here because they can outcompete. You know, they don't get that tall. They just got those base leaves. They can outcompete all the stuff that can grow over there, but can't grow over here because of the thinner soil. The Liatris looking nice at the aspera. Ooh. See, there we go. We got the little blue stem grass, Schizachyrium scoparium. Real stunner. Real nice little native bunch grass. Little blue stem. Then at the base of it, you got more of that Trichostoma brachiatum, the Lamiaceae, the mint family. Oh, I can smell it right now. It kind of smells like a mixture of turpentine and oregano. Very pleasant. Okay, Trichostoma mostly being a western genus, but you get these little diminutive bastards out here. But only on the areas where the soil's thin enough, because they like it kind of dry. Okay, there's the base of the leaves of that Echinacea pallida. You can see right there. Oh, super fuzzy. You got a lot of hair on that guy. Okay. There's the old flower heads. A little late. Got to come here in May. And then, of course, we got this nice, the Lakeside Daisy over there. Okay. Tetranuris herbacea, formerly Hymenoxys acaulis. Okay. And this is a plant that's endemic to these thin soils. These thin topsoils. You can see the bedrock is readily exposed right there. Just scraped clean right by the glacier. Now, Al, why don't you go ahead and you explain to me how the Lakeside Daisy would fit into the Italian beef sandwich? What would be the metaphor of the Lakeside? Where would the Lakeside Daisy be on a sandwich?
Well, maybe it's not in the sandwich so much as it is the sandwich itself, and that it's a very particular confluence of different factors that are going to lead to the existence of its very being. So the Italian beef, like the Lakeside Daisy, is really only going to be in the Chicagoland area, in places that currently or at one time had high Italo-American population, and that the environment is still experiencing the effects of that. So, you know, it's really amazing to see this plant out here. Very rare, like you said, just on a Dolomite Prairie. You know, we could probably find, if we get down close to the ground, there's some lichens out here that are only going to be on a Dolomite Prairie because it's the only thing that could grow.
That's right. And so this, you get what's called a narrow endemic. Okay, all right, and this would be a paleo endemic, perhaps left over from a time when the climate was much different. Okay, maybe perhaps a part of a larger population. Now, do you feel, Al, like this plant has been persecuted, maybe like a Rod Blagojevich, unfairly persecuted?
I don't know. I think maybe the Blagojevich metaphor might be better applied to another malaligned plant that, in fact, is a good plant. So, like, what's a plant that's like a weed that everybody hates, but is actually a good, healthy thing? Like, So,
well, I don't know if I call Blagojevich good and healthy,
no,
but everybody,
he's not. That doesn't work either.
Everybody certainly does hate him. Okay,
yeah, he is horrible.
Now, would you be caught? Do you think the Lakeside Daisy has ever been caught embezzling money or trying to solicit the funds for the selling of a Senate seat or anything like that?
I think if we were going to pin that on somebody, we'd have to say buckthorn. You know, It's terrible.
Right, okay.
It's sucking up all the resources. It's not supposed to be here anyway. You know, so really when it comes down to it, buckthorn is really the Rad Blagojevich of the prairie environment.
Okay.
I think so,
Okay,
right?
that's
Okay.
good. So you really cleared things up right here.
Yeah,
I want to go ahead and say thank you for that, because well, you know, at first I was confused about how to take this, you know, how to look at the picture, okay? Because there's a lot of propaganda out there, but you've really cleared things up.
And you know, you want to go in and, you know, we could continue this metaphorical thought process, this thought exercise, and extend it to the other plants that environment and other key figures in Chicago. Oh, we got a plain leaf in Midway, probably a southwest, going down to Texas somewhere. You know, it's really fascinating. Joe, you know, I don't think people give the great state of Illinois enough credit for its biodiversity.
Okay.
I really think they don't. You know, we got the central grasslands. Okay. You know,
that's right.
You know, up north we got the southern end of the North Woods coming down in the top of the state. Okay. Down south we got not only the coastal plain, the northern end of the coastal plain is in southern Illinois. Do you know that?
And I didn't know that.
And you know what else we got down there is the Ozark Uplift. That's down there too.
Okay.
And then we got the Eastern Boreal.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. No, okay. So
there's a lot of things
So
going
in
on.
other words, if we're going to talk about patronage, hiring, and ghost payrolls at the water department,
right,
we're going to have to basically expand our horizons for a new cast of plant species to bring into the mix right there.
That's true, because the state of Illinois is varied. It's very biodiverse, just like the opportunities for patronage hires and ghost payrolling is also very diverse. You got the city, you got the county, you know, you got the state level, and all the various small municipalities with less oversight that ring the city of Chicago.
Okay, now how about now let's talk about this though. Now how about opportunities for personal injury, for feigning personal injury in hopes of achieving some sort of financial settlement through litigation?
You know, I think the most closely accurate comparison, pardon me here, accurate comparison in the natural world, Jack, would be the only North American marsupial, the possum.
Okay.
For great gain does he feign injury.
Okay.
You know, his reward is that he doesn't die, you know, but not dying in the animal kingdom is maybe the human equivalent of, say, getting a small settlement in small claims court for a total of $7,000 for damages to personal property that may or may not have happened.
Okay, now what would you do with that $7,000? Better yet, what would the possum do? North America's only marsupial with that $7,000. Do you think he'd put it towards a new Pontiac?
He might get a new Pontiac, or he might put the pool in the backyard, because it's real nice when it's hot outside. You know, then he and the possum family, they could take a swim when it's real hot. And then you know what? You don't got to pay for no birthday parties for the kids no more. You know, because they always want to go to Chuck E. Cheese and whatnot, or, you know, Little Caesars Playland out on Harlem.
You could just do it in the backyard.
You can just do it in the
You
backyard.
could just do it in the backyard.
But then you got to watch out. You got to watch out, Joe, because then everybody wants to come over for the pool.
Right.
And you know, the chemicals, they're not free.
And you don't want to deal with that. And you know some of them are going to be, you know, urinating in the pool and whatnot. There's going to be, okay, some might even leave a little dunker floating. You know, you might find a floater later on.
You don't want that.
Okay, and they're going to blame it on the kids. Even though the goddamn thing's about, 9 inches long with a little... Oh, let's not even get into it. Al, I want to thank you for your time.
Well, you know, Joe, you gotta be aware of that too, because then somebody might come, and they might come to the pool, and they might slip and fall and have a little accident, and then, the funds that you have gotten to fund the pool, they're gone, And
now, would you have trouble retaining an insurance, policy on said pool, were that to happen?
I'd have to call Tom Kubajak. He's my Allstate agent. But I think he'd be able to figure something out for the policy.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot, Al. I want to thank you for your for your 2 cents right there.
Thanks for bringing me out here, Joe. This is beautiful.
You've really put some clarity into the equation right here, and I want to thank you for that. So there you go.
Buckthorn, the Rab Blagojevich of Illinois.
Okay, there you go. It is minus the hair. So there you go. Lakeside Daisy. We got a Dolomite endemic. Okay, poster child for the odd soils, the thin soil types that you will encounter on the Dolomite prairies. Okay, scraped clear by the glaciers, and you know, just kind of clinging on. Only 2 or 3 populations in the state of Illinois, and then of course you got that Trichostoma brachiatum. So anyway, well, it looks like that's all we got for you today. Hopefully you learned a thing or two. Okay, and you know, we're gonna snap out right now. Okay, coming to you from Crook County, Southwest Crook County, Chicago region. That's all I got for you today. Go fuck yourself. Have a lovely evening. Goodbye. Look at it, even growing on a dolostone, okay, on a Dolomite Prairie, despite the thin topsoil, we get a plant that likes to stick its roots down deep. We get Silphium terebinthinaceum. Now, I did not expect to see this guy out here, okay? It is growing a lot smaller than you would see it if it was growing on a richer topsoil, okay? It's topping out, you know, maybe about 5.5 feet tall, okay? Because I'm a relatively average-sized little wop. I'm about 5'9", 5'10", okay? 180 pounds. Okay, but this guy is, you know, they get upwards to, you know, 10 feet tall. This will be normally a tall plant if you got a rich prairie topsoil. The Silphium terebinthinaceum. Look, you got the glabrous involucre right there. Oh, there's a guy on there. You got a glabrous involucre. They're already done flowering, it appears. Okay, and of course, like all Silphiums, they're only fertile. Only the marginal florets are fertile, so they'll only be producing achenes, fertile seeds, fertile achenes on the outside of those flower heads. But again, all the daisy rays, the ligules have already fallen off. But you got a glabrous stem, wonderful fucking plant. I'm surprised to see this here. Okay, and then over here you just got more of the Lakeside Daisy. You see, just tons of them, tons of them. Okay, there we go, another member of the mint family, the Lamiaceae. This is a plant colloquially known as obedient plant, Physostygia, however the fuck you want to pronounce it. Latin's a dead language, Americana. Okay, and it's called obedient plant because I guess, you know, some jackass thought it was funny that you could move them around, move the calyces to the side like that, and they would stay. And they do stay. But the important thing to note here, of course, is you got that bilaterally symmetrical symmetry, bilaterally symmetrical flower head, excuse me. Not to be too goddamn redundant. You got kind of a speckled parent in there. And then you got, as is typical of the Lamiaceae, 4 stamens up there. Okay? Well, Salvia's only got 2, but they got kind of a complex stamen morphology. You'll have to look that one up. They got that whole lever mechanism in the genus Salvia. But anyway, Physostygia, there you go. Okay? Beautiful bastard. They get a lot bigger than this. They get upwards of 4 or 5 feet tall. Showy garden plant. Okay, definitely a native plant you should stick in your goddamn garden if you live in the Midwest or the East Coast. Okay, and there's that other Eupatorium altissimum. How's this guy smell? He doesn't really smell like anything, but he doesn't smell like feet, so I can't complain. But you know what? I kind of like it when those a lot of the white composites, the white sunflower family members with just the discoid flowers, kind of like it when they smell like feet. You know? Is that weird? I don't know. Let's keep going. All crushed over in the bushes looking like a creepy lurker. Here I am. We got another species, the wonderful Liatris scariosa. Okay? Growing right next to the Lespedeza. Okay, Fabaceae right there. Obviously, check out those trifolia leaves. Bunch of little fabid flowers when they are flowering, all clustered together. Right up there, subtended by those bracts. But get those long pedicels on this on those flowers. Look at that, more soothing than a goddamn cocktail, okay? Or stuffing your face with an Italian beef. The prairie at sunset. You know, I'm just gonna shut my damn mouth and let you have that. Only fragments left. You know, and that's the tragedy right there.